Within American Pickers star Frank Fritz and Danielle Colby's current relationship. Although the original focus of American Pickers was on friendships and valuables, subsequent scandals and health problems have brought the star's connections to light. Although Frank Fritz left the program, Danielle Colby said she was happy for him and that he was doing well, but their connection is still unknown. Frank Fritz is recuperating from a stroke at an assisted living facility, and his affairs are being handled by a conservator and guardian. In 2010, when American Pickers made its A&E premiere, Mike Wolf, Danielle Colby, and Frank Fritz became overnight celebrities. But that wasn't the case with American Pickers, in contrast to other reality shows that have always relied on drama to drive viewers. Even though some very amazing things happened in American Pickers episodes, the show mostly concentrated on its stars' friendships and their ability to acquire expensive goods. That was, at least, the situation up until a few years ago. Due to conflicts and even significant health issues, American Pickers has been the focus of a lot of criticism over the past few years. Mike and Frank's relationship has received a lot of attention as a result of all that turbulence. The interest in Frank and Mike's connection makes perfect sense, considering they have been linked for almost 10 years. Many American Pickers viewers are unaware of the current status of Frank's relationship with Danielle, his other co-star. Updated July 2024. The latest recent details on American Pickers, Frank Fritz and Danielle Colby, have been incorporated into this page. Are Frank Fritz and Danielle Colby still friends? As of right now, Frank Fritz and Danielle Colby are not dating. Both of Frank's previous co-stars remained on the hit series after his time as the lead in American Pickers ended. In light of this, some would have believed that Danielle had abandoned Frank and allied with Mike. That is, in fact, a really unjust assumption to make. Nevertheless, since Danielle originally kept quiet about her connection with Frank after he departed the show, those who first formed that assumption weren't challenged in their thinking. Danielle finally spoke up about Frank's departure a few months later in a long Instagram post. Danielle then disclosed her continued concern for Frank and her desire for the best for him. "I'm truly saddened for the loss of Frank on the show," Colby said. "I feel so sorry for him and his difficulties. Personally, I've seen every film released in the last 10 years. I have a lot of ideas, but I won't share them since they are just mine and not necessarily the truth. I wish things could have turned out differently, but when we bring others instability or misery, we have to take responsibility for our actions. It has been difficult to witness Frank's self-inflicted suffering. I sincerely hope Frank receives all the help he needs to become well after years of being unwell," Danielle continued. "I will refrain from disparaging someone in need of assistance, since it is not my position to do so." Danielle stated that she was coming out about the incident to correct the tabloid reporting, in addition to her desire for Frank to get well. "The only reason I'm speaking to this right now is because everybody is speculating on my words, and my words are being taken out of context in tabloid rags, because they can't interview me because I will not interview with a tabloid rag," Danielle said in closing. "So if you're curious about my feelings, this is just how I feel. I wish for everyone's recovery. I hope that despite everything, everyone still loves one another." Danielle concluded her final season on American Pickers not long after making her declaration. In February 2024, she tied the knot with Jeremy Schuch, her longtime partner. As of right now, Danielle has resumed her cherished job as a burlesque dancer, and the two share their time between the Midwest and Puerto Rico. Frank Fritz of American Pickers, where is he now? Frank Fritz is relearning how to walk and talk while residing in an assisted living home. Danielle's sentiments against Frank are evident, as seen by her Instagram post regarding her former co-star. Conversely, Frank has refrained from discussing Danielle since the events of the drama and his departure from American Pickers. Unfortunately, it is highly doubtful that Frank's affections for Danielle will be made public anytime soon, based on information that has lately surfaced. That's because Frank is supposedly going through some really difficult times. Frank had previously battled addiction, needed extensive back surgery, and received a diagnosis of Crohn's disease. Even with all of that, it appears like Frank is up against an even bigger obstacle right now. It was disclosed that Fritz had experienced a stroke in October of 2022. How tough it may be is something that everyone who has experienced the same thing or watched a loved one recover from a stroke understands. Frank's stroke recovery has unexpectedly changed even with that in mind. After all, according to court records obtained by the Des Moines Register in 2022, Frank has been placed under guardianship, which is similar to the circumstance that Britney Spears previously encountered. A guardianship petition filed in August stated that Mr. Fritz's decision-making capacity is so impaired because of his stroke that he is unable to care for his own safety or to provide for necessities such as food, shelter, clothing, or medical care. It said, he is also unable to make, communicate, or carry out important decisions concerning his own financial affairs. The statement stated, there are enough allegations to justify the emergency appointment of a guardian and conservator, including a letter from the protected party's physician indicating he is unable to make decisions for himself. By 2022, a local bank controls Frank's funds, and one of his old acquaintances is in charge of his well-being. As of 2024, he has been residing in an assisted living facility and is gradually regaining his ability to walk and communicate. Inside American Pickers star Frank Fritz and Danielle Colby's relationship today, American Pickers initially highlighted friendships and valuable finds, but recent controversies and health issues have spotlighted the stars' relationships. Despite Frank Fritz's departure, Danielle Colby has expressed support for him, though the nature of their relationship remains uncertain. Frank Fritz is currently recovering from a stroke in an assisted living facility, with a guardian and conservator managing his affairs. When American Pickers premiered on A&E in 2010, it quickly made Mike Wolf, Danielle Colby, and Frank Fritz household names. Unlike many reality shows that rely on drama for ratings, American Pickers focused on finding valuable items and the camaraderie among its stars, at least initially. In recent years, the show has faced significant controversy due to feuds and serious health issues among the cast. This drama has drawn considerable attention to the relationships between the stars, particularly between Mike and Frank. Given their decade-long association, it's no surprise that fans are curious about Frank and Mike's relationship. However, many fans are also interested in Frank's relationship with his other co-star, Danielle Colby. Updated July 2024. This article has been updated to reflect the most recent information regarding American Pickers, Frank Fritz and Danielle Colby. Are Danielle Colby and Frank Fritz still friends? Frank Fritz and Danielle Colby do not have a relationship today. When Frank left American Pickers, his former co-stars continued on the show. This led some to assume Danielle had sided with Mike against Frank. However, this assumption is unfair. Initially, Danielle remained silent about her relationship with Frank after his departure. Several months later, she broke her silence with a lengthy Instagram post, expressing care for Frank and wishing him well. I'm truly saddened for the loss of Frank on the show, Colby said. I'm incredibly sad for his struggles. I have personally watched everything over the last decade. I have many thoughts but won't speak them as they are only my thoughts, not gospel. Danielle continued, I wish things could have been different, but we must be accountable for our actions when we cause instability or pain and suffering to others. Frank caused so much pain for himself that it has been hard to watch. She added, I truly hope Frank receives all the help he needs to become well after years of being unwell. It is not my place to speak ill of someone who needs help, so I will keep my comments uplifting. Danielle also clarified her reasons for speaking out. The only reason I'm speaking to this right now is because everybody is speculating on my words, and my words are being taken out of context in tabloid rags, because they can't interview me because I will not interview with a tabloid rag. She concluded, so if you want to know how I feel, here's exactly how I feel. I hope everybody gets well. I hope everybody continues to love each other even through the hard. Shortly after this statement, Danielle finished her last season on American Pickers. She married her longtime boyfriend, Jeremy Schuch, in February 2024. They now split their time between the Midwest and Puerto Rico, and Danielle has returned to her career as a burlesque dancer. Where is Frank Fritz now? Frank Fritz is in an assisted living facility, learning to speak and walk again. Despite Danielle's clear feelings, Frank has not spoken about her since the drama unfolded and his departure from American Pickers. Unfortunately, recent news indicates that Frank is facing significant challenges. He has been diagnosed with Crohn's disease, required major back surgery, and struggled with addiction. In October 2022, it was revealed that Frank had suffered a stroke. Recovering from a stroke is incredibly difficult, and Frank's situation has taken an unexpected turn. According to court documents obtained by the Des Moines Register, Frank has been placed in guardianship due to his impaired decision-making capacity following the stroke. Because of his stroke, Mr. Fritz's decision-making capacity is so impaired that he is unable to care for his own safety or to provide for necessities such as food, shelter, clothing, or medical care, states a petition for guardianship filed in August. The statement continued, he is also unable to make, communicate, or carry out important decisions concerning his own financial affairs. There are sufficient allegations to warrant appointment of a guardian and conservator on an emergency basis, including a letter from the protected party's physician indicating he is unable to make decisions for himself, the statement concluded. As of 2022, one of Frank's longtime friends is in charge of his welfare, and a local bank manages his finances. He remains in an assisted living facility as of 2024, where he is working on his recovery.